Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Neymar Jr., Ashraf Hakimi, Marco Verratti, Sergio Ramos. The team, which is no shot on the players' platter, has emerged as the new chokers in the football arena. Recently, this club has become the greatest example of a famous English phrase, high-end fate dish. The latest elimination from UCL added to 5 eliminations in last 7 seasons. So, what's happening with PSG? To get down to this, let's get back to Pavilion. Paris Saint-Germain Football Club was founded in 1970 after the merger of Paris FC and Stade Saint-Germain, commonly known as PSG. The most famous club of France and one of the most widely supported teams in the world which compete in the Ligue 1, the top division of French football. After facing huge slumps in the fortunes during 2000s, the Parisians have rallied up since 2011 with prominent financial backing by Qatari Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, purchased the club back in 2011. A takeover that made PSG one of the richest clubs in the world. But as far as UEFA Champions League is concerned, the club has proven itself to be a disaster. Nasser Al Khelaifi, the club's president, boosted by the World Cup in Qatar, declared 2023 will be the most successful year for PSG. But cut to March 2023, PSG are out of Champions League and have lost more matches in 2023 than in the totality of 2022. The Parisian project, which was started in the last summer with the appointment of a new manager Christophe Galtier, new sporting director Louis Campos, and most significant, the renewal of Kylian Mbappe's contract. A year ago, the project, which was aiming sustainability on these 3 pillars, but it did not happen as planned. Club's approach of assembling superstars of the game, seeking quick success with the strategy for a longer term build is like mixing apples with oranges. And the flaws in the approach were quite evident in the game against Bayern Munich, as PSG's group of superstar individuals bowed to a superb team performance from Bayern, where each and every individual was on the same page. On the game night against Bayern, injuries dug the grave for PSG. Besides the absence of Neymar, losing 3 important defenders, Kimpembe, Marquinhos and Nordi Mukele over the course of 1 month left them weedy, underconfident and unbalanced. Although it seems misfortune, but the club's approach of transfer market does not deserve any sympathy. Amount of euros flown into the PSG by Qatar Sports Investment was revealing that there was no established bloke that was available for manager Galtier on the bench to turn to when things were going out of the hands against Bayern. In contrast, Nagelsmann had Serge Gnabry, Leroy Sané and the very influential Sadio Mane among their subs. This was the knob on a difficult year and a decade of contentious side building. PSG are the club with the largest wage bill in football, yet their record is of 5 Champions League exits in the past 7 years, reaching the final only once in 2020 under Thomas Tuchel's managership, one of the finest managers to coach PSG, and since then, nothing hunky-dory for PSG in Europe. A very unusual incident happened at Parc des Princes when PSG were trailing to Lille 3-2. Campos started shouting at players requiring improvements during the game, but the thing is, Galtier is the manager and Campos overshadowed him through his frustration, which generally does not happen with the clubs. And it did not give the impression of Galtier as a man in the position of strength. It's quite messed up. The French World Cup winner and now PSG's all-time leading goal scorer Kylian Mbappe, known Campos since his younger days at Monaco. And guess what? Campos appointed as the sporting director of the club. This appointment led to the renewal of PSG's project and Mbappe's contract. He is considered as Mbappe's main man. It seems Mbappe has a great influence on the club. Another incident which proves the cause that PSG former coach Thomas Tuchel and Mbappe were involved in a dispute during the match against Montpellier in 2020. However, PSG officials held a meeting between the manager and the player to settle their matter, but things didn't go as planned. Kylian Mbappe refused to apologize to Thomas Tuchel for his unethical behavior, and after this episode, club didn't take any serious action just because Mbappe was in continuous talks with Real Madrid and PSG did not want to let him go. And this thing played a great role in the sacking of Thomas Tuchel. Kind of the same thing happened with Mauricio Pochettino. The former manager never felt like home at PSG because he never had the full authority over his dressing room. There were many instances where he wanted to take strict actions against players who did not respect the rules, but he was told to leave it by the higher officials. Sometimes it is very hard to manage any team if you do not enjoy that authority behind the curtains, and even more so inside this PSG dressing room. Qatar Sports Investment, or QSI, a subsidiary of Qatar Investment Authority, the state-run sovereign wealth fund in Qatar. QSI was founded in 2005 and ventures of QSI are invested into sports and entertainment sectors and said to be owned by Qatar's Finance Ministry and Olympic Committee. PSG has been one of the greatest investments of QSI, and since 2011, Nasir Al-Khilafi has served as the chairman of QSI and also the president of PSG, making it a state-owned club. The game plan behind PSG's takeover was very simple: to present a worldwide image of Qatar, a great footballing nation, before it grandstand the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Since 2011, the club has dominated French League, but the Champions League has been a thorny road so far. PSG's massive expenditures have also brought many problems for the club with UEFA and its financial fair play regulations. In August 2012, PSG signed an enormous nation branding deal with Qatar Tourism Authority to promote Qatar. The Qatari government branch agreed to pay Euro 1 billion over the course of 5 seasons, but after the contract got official in 2013, it stipulated 2 retroactive payments of Euro 100 million and Euro 200 million for the 2011-12 and 2012-13 seasons respectively, which wrote off their losses completely for that period. Subsequently, UEFA intervened into it and determined that QTA deal was struck at an artificially inflated price to help PSG get around UEFA financial fair play regulation, which thrives to stop clubs spending more than they earn. UEFA, after many investigations, cleared the club of breaching FPP rules, but devalued its Qatar-based deals and also warned PSG that QTA contract would not be taken into account beyond June 2019. Under continuous pressure from UEFA, the club did not renew their scandalized contract with QTA, but after QTA, it was the chance of Qatar Airways to become the new PSG's shirt sponsor. Winning the bid to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup was just the part of Qatar's plan to become a high-stake player in the global game. And moreover, investments in PSG has played a clinical role in that since 2011 when they became the first ever sponsor of the Barcelona shirt. So it's quite vivid that Qatar has exploited the beautiful game of football as the instrument of their nation building and advertising, and the 5 UCL early exits out of the last 7 seasons can make any club's guardian furious. But the Qataris are its chin, because they don't care about the clubs with the prospect of football. They are just super happy with the way how this game has been paying them in their country's advertisement. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel for more such analysis, discourse and podcasts.